And Black is back. And back. Well, it's unmatched anywhere else. The Oakland Raiders. And those of you who've been watching the Giants in Philadelphia, this is the Oakland Coliseum. Pat Summerall with John Madden. And fans here like nowhere else. They had to get up early or not go to bed at all to get ready to get in a costume like that. The Raiders, Ismail, a yard deep in the end zone. A good kick by Chris Bonio for the Cowboys. Let's look at the Oakland offense, led by Jeff Hostetler, playing with a bad shoulder and a bad hand, but playing. Tough guy. Good offensive line in front of him. The three in the middle performing very, very well. Tim Brown, Ismail, Derek Fenner, Harvey Williams, and Kerry Cash opens at tight end. Jeff Hostetler. First and 10 Raiders at their own 20. Hostetler will put it up. On first down to Tim Brown. Let's look at the Dallas defense. They were severely challenged last week against San Francisco. Haley and Tolbert, the defensive ends. Russell Maryland playing with a banged-up knee, as is Chad Hennings. Smith Jones and Dixon Edwards, the linebackers. Deion Sanders and Alundis Bryce, number 29, opening at cornerback. Darren Woodson. Number 21, of course, is Deion Sanders, facing Ismail. And a flag on the play deep in the backfield. Deion Sanders came up to make the tackle.
And that's going to be holding against the Raiders.
Holding. Number 88 on the offense. Next penalty. 3 second.
Kerry Cash. Good play by Deion Sanders. A good tackle by Deion Sanders.
You know, that's one thing about Deion Sanders is they say that he doesn't tackle. It's not that he doesn't tackle. He doesn't miss tackles. But he's not in a position, because he's a cover guy, he doesn't get in position to have to tackle a lot because they don't throw at him or around him. But if he has to, he is a good tackler. If he has to be physical, he is a good physical player.
Those of you who watch St. Louis and Atlanta, welcome to the Oakland Coliseum. 2nd and 17. This is the first offensive series of the game. Hostetler back to throw it. Across the middle, Tim Brown. Cut down again around his knee, around his ankles.
Before the game, if Deion Sanders was going to play against Tim Brown, now he's not. What he's doing is he is playing to the strong side. He is taking the outside receiver that's on the same side as the tight end. And in the play so far, that has been Rocket Ismail.
And again, a welcome to those of you who've been watching other NFL games, particularly Atlanta and St. Louis. This is the Oakland Coliseum, the Raiders' first offensive effort of the day. 3 wide receivers, no score. It's 3rd and 6. Hostetler back to throw it. Chased into the pocket by Colbert. Knocked down by Brock Marion. Darrell Hobbs, the intended receiver.
I think one thing, the Cowboys changed up their coverage there, Pat, a little. Deion Sanders was out here on Darrell Hobbs, but he wasn't playing man-to-man. This is a zone defense. You're going to see Brock Marion, the safety, just come over the top and get that left hand in there and knock the ball away.
Well, of course, they came under all kind of heat, particularly in Dallas last week after the 49er game, for not being willing to adjust their coverage. Kevin Williams back deep.
Down for a trip.
Fake to Sanders. Williams from behind. Bruce Pickens from behind. He had something going if Bruce didn't make that play. No score as Dallas heads out on the field for their first offensive possession.
Sunday is brought to you by Dockers Flat Front Khakis, proud makers of nice pants. By American Express. By Hertz. For business, for pleasure. Nobody does it exactly like Hertz. And by Goodyear. #1 in tires.
Oakland's first offensive possession unrewarded. They had to punt. They got a holding penalty mixed in. Troy Aikman will lead the Dallas offense, playing with a bad left knee, but playing. If you're going to play quarterback, I heard you say last night, and we were talking last night, if you're going to play quarterback in this league and not miss any games, you're going to have to play hurt.
Yeah, and
the officials do too, I guess.
Yeah, but you know, and the great ones do. I mean, there's no way that these quarterbacks can take the pounding that they have to take and then miss games.
Well, while we have a moment, let's check out the lineups. Aikman, as we said, the quarterback. The book on him up front, that massive offensive line. Tuinei Newton Donaldson playing. Larry Allen and Eric Williams. Emmitt Smith, Darrell Johnston. Kevin Williams, Michael Irvin wide. Jay Novacek, the tight end. Dallas will take over first and 10 at their own 35.
And the officials are going one short. That is Tom Barnes they're working on now. So they'll be working one short until they can get him ready to go again.
Howard Rowe is the referee. Novacek is on the move. Aikman back to throw it. Swings it out to Emmitt Smith, incomplete. Let's have a look at the Oakland defense. They're playing very well. Jerry Ball and Chester McLaughlin in the middle. Anthony Smith and Pat Swilling wide. Jones, Beekert, good young linebackers. Fredrickson. Secondary, Albert Lewis, Eddie Anderson back. Derek Hoskins and Terry McDaniel. 2nd and 10. Johnston and Smith behind Aikman. To Emmitt Smith. Nothing doing. A loss of about 4. Rob Fredrickson.
You know, one thing about this field, Pat, I played here for so many years. The field is below sea level, so it's always going to be wet and heavy. The Cowboys have just figured that out. So what happens, you have to put on a longer cleat. And I think on the Cowboys sideline, they don't know that. They're figuring it out now, or their defense has, and I think we're going to see that all day.
3rd and 15. Smith lost 5. Aikman back to throw. Blitz coming. Aikman going deep to Irvin. Incomplete. Terry McDaniel with him stride for stride.
That's one thing that the Raiders have. They have great corners. Terry McDaniel is a great corner. He didn't get a bump. He just runs all the way with Michael Irvin. In fact, the way Michael Irvin looks here at the end, he thinks that Terry McDaniel intercepts that ball. In fact, it was in Terry McDaniel's hands more than it was Michael Irvin's hands. They are going to be tough to beat anywhere, let alone deep, these two Raider corners.
John Tim back to punt it. Tim Brown, dangerous, back to return it. He's out of the pack is Tim Brown. Here comes Jet over. Made him cut back, but a good return by Tim Brown. David Lang made the stop. Tim Brown, none better, no score, but the Raiders take over in good shape.
This is the future.
Back at the Oakland Coliseum, Pat Summerall, John Madden, sold out, packed house, in fact, for the Cowboys visit. 3 wide receivers for the Raiders. 1st and 10 in Dallas territory. Ostetler on the reverse to Ismail. Slipped down at the 30, a flag on the play.
There's a penalty flag at the 37-yard line.
Scott Case,
you know,
involved in a little fracas at the end. I'm sorry.
One of the things that Mike White, when he took over as head coach of the Oakland Raiders, one thing he wanted to eliminate was penalties. And early they kind of did, but they're coming back, and that's still one of the big problems with this Raider team.
Howard Rowe.
Holding. Number 81 on the offense.
Tim Brown.
10-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
We're still an official short.
Yeah, that's Tom Barnes. And you see, there are 7 officials. And Tom Barnes was the line judge, so he would have been in this position here.
Spotting the ball, first down, 8 yards to go.
Yeah, we'll see what adjustment they make. 1st and 8.
They just don't have anyone in his position
That's right
now.
That's right. The handoff is to Harvey Williams, and Harvey Williams is near a first down, a fumble. They're saying he was down.
Well, we were talking about, who has confidence and who doesn't. And I'll tell you, sometimes a big play like that, a turnover or not, will give you confidence.
An injured Raider, Tim Brown. They signaled very quickly. The players did.
Tim Brown was shaken up on the play.
Yes,
See
that
what
was
happened.
Kevin Gogan right away. You see Tim Brown. The fumble happened right in front of him. Tim Brown got hit by his own guy.
Got his knee hung in that pile, I think.
That's the good news is he pulled both feet out of the ground. I don't know when that ball came out of there, though. The official pointed to the ground, saying that the whistle blew before the ball came out.
And Williams got enough for a first down. There's Brown at the top of the picture.
Yeah, and you'll see here when the ball comes out, he was down. And, of course, it's when that whistle blows, too.
Doesn't look any injury you wonder about, and you hope for the best. It doesn't look too bad. I hate to make a judgment, but I just did.
And you can just tell the way he's looking, and he feels pretty good about it. And I think the good sign, like I said, is at the end when you saw both of his feet come up out of the ground, because when a guy really gets a knee is when one of those feet are planted in the ground.
With those long cleats.
I'll tell you, this grass and this soft grass like this is the safest playing surface in the world.
Here's Hostetler going deep. Overthrows James Jett. And right now for a McDonald's game break, let's return to our James Brown in our Hollywood studio.
All right, Pat, take a look at Chris Carter, second from the bottom of the screen, works his way behind blown coverage. Warren Moon all day finds him at the back of the end zone. Vikings on top, 7-0. Don't forget, Thanksgiving Day, the Vikings will be taking on the Lions. Pre-game coverage starts at 12 noon Eastern, right here on Fox. Back to Pat and John.
JB, we won't forget, because we'll be there. Thanksgiving Day.
How can you forget football and Thanksgiving and turkey and all the things that goes with it? The injured player is Alundis Bryce. Right. He's the rookie that started in place of Larry Brown. Larry Brown's son passed away this week. And they had the funeral yesterday. Larry Brown missed most of the practice, so he didn't start. They started Alundis Bryce. Larry Brown got into town last night. He came in on Jerry Jones's jet and got in about 10 o'clock last night. Really didn't practice all this week or meet with a team. So, he's probably as unprepared to play a game as you can.
But he's going to have to play, it looks like. Alundis Bryce didn't get hit. Just something got stuck. And I don't know if he's okay or not. That may be something that lasts a while.
And in fact, Larry Brown's son was named Christopher Brown. He was born prematurely and passed away this week. And all the Dallas Cowboy players are wearing KB on their helmets for Christopher Brown.
The handoff is to Derek Finner.
Handoff to Derek Finner.
There, the KB on the back of the helmets of the Dallas Cowboys. That's Deion Sanders, of course.
So Larry Brown.
There is Larry Brown.
And he has really been through it. I mean, Larry Brown is a real pro and a competitor. And Christopher Brown was born, premature and like 1 pound.
1 pound.
And was fighting for his life, all of his life. And
3 wide receivers for the Raiders. Wide open is Darryl Hobbs. Will get a first down.
I think that's what the Raiders are trying to do. They're trying to figure out where Dion is going to play and then run him out of an area and then come across and work those zones, work those underneath guys. And you see, they just crossed on that one. Hobbs was the second guy crossing. Now, you see, when you come on a cross, those underneath guys have to figure out what they're going to do. They have to redirect. They redirected one, but they didn't redirect Hobbs.
On first down, sweeps right, gets about 5.
Well, you talk about a guy who's having a big year, who's really made a difference in this Oakland Raider team. It's Harvey Williams. And the way that, he is running with the ball, you see he's already gained 767 yards. He's averaged 4.6 yards per carry, scored 8 touchdowns. And I think the combination of Harvey Williams along with this big offensive line have really helped this offense of the Raiders.
Robert Jones injured on the last play, down and being checked.
Yeah, this has been Robert Jones looks like it's that groin area. One thing, I said that this is a safe field. It is, because it's very heavy and it's a little slick. Now, one thing, when it is slick, your cleats aren't going to stay in the ground, and sometimes when they do come out of the ground, the area that you do injure is that groin area. So you'll have more groin pulls on a field like this, but I think you have less of the serious type, knee injuries, ankle injuries, those types of things.
Robert Jones is the guy you don't think about being hurt for some reason, because he's been so durable since he's been the middle linebacker and played just every down that they've asked him to play.
So on this drive, the Cowboys have lost Alundis Bryce, their starting corner today, and Robert Jones, their starting middle linebacker today.
2nd and 5. 2 tight ends. Harvey Williams hammers down to about the 15 for another Raider first down.
You see, he gets right in there behind big old Kevin Gogan. Remember Kevin Gogan, 6'7", 330-pound right guard, number 66. You see, he's going to get right in there behind that right side. You see, scrapping that Gogan. Gogan starts off in a double team, gets up, gets that linebacker, and that gives that soft spot for Harvey Williams.
Godfrey Miles. Raiders come out of the huddle quickly. If they do go into the huddle, they're going to use some no huddle. They've already said Godfrey Miles has taken the place of Robert Jones in the middle. Williams hit right at the line of scrimmage. It was not a first down. He missed it by about a foot, and he might have missed it again.
I don't know. This is a one that you spot. All he has to do is get to that white line. See if he gets the white line. Yep, he got over the white line, so he got the first down. And again, they go to that right side behind Graves Skreklenak and Kevin Gogan. Good blocking tight ends the Raiders have. Big offensive line. Like I said earlier, they trained in Austin, Texas with the Cowboys for a week and played them in preseason. And they felt confident coming into this game that both their lines, offense and defense, matched up well with this Cowboy team.
Hostetler to Williams. A couple. As he ducked underneath Tony Tolbert. One thing I remember when the workouts were going on against each other, almost every one of the Cowboys were impressed, not just with the physical ability of the Raiders, but how big they were. And they do match up very well.
Yeah, and they're big and they're strong, and they have that combination inside. Then the other combination they have is that outside receiver speed, and then that outside speed on the defensive corners.
2nd and 9. Tim Brown back in the game. will be playing the pattern incomplete. Intended for Hobbs, behind him just a bit.
And you know what's important with this first quarter for the Raiders is, as I said earlier, I think that Jeff Hostetler's left shoulder is really bothering him. We know that he has a broken hand. That whole left side of his body. This year he's had a throat, a left shoulder, and a left hand, and it really is bothering him. But one thing, the Cowboys haven't knocked him down yet, and you have to give that the pass protection. See that thing he's wearing on his hand? See, he has a hard thing on the outside of the hand and a soft thing on the inside, and a glove and tape and everything.
Play number 11 of this drive coming up. Hostetler to throw it. Incomplete in the direction of Brown. They will have to settle for 3. Jeff Jager, who was hurt earlier in the year, back 100% now.
You can just see Barry Switzer there feeling like they just dodged a bullet.
Gossett is the holder.
Mike White's thinking that when you get down there, you have to get it in the end zone. You can't use a lot of threes when you play an explosive team like the Dallas Cowboys.
This will be 31 yards away. And the field goal is pulled. Not good. The worst case is you get nothing.
He really dodged it.
Nothing score as the Cowboys take over.
Take the time. Individuals are no longer more important than the team.
You want a piece of that championship? Put it in here. Nobody can do it alone, but together we can do it.
Sports magazines include more team photos. More game balls go to linemen. We all play more as a team. We pat someone on the butt when they fail and celebrate like madmen when they succeed. Starter, it's about team.
You never.
At the Oakland Coliseum, Oakland, California, the home of the Raiders. As you could see at the top of that picture just a moment ago, it's going to be improved, enlarged. It'll have eventually a seating capacity of over 60,000. Aikman back to throw on first down. Down he goes, and he can't take too many of those. Anthony Smith.
Now there's an interesting story, Anthony Smith. Now you're going to see Anthony Smith down here, and he's down in the bottom. He's working against Mark Tuinei. He starts in, gets his hands up, and then when Aikman steps up, he just comes underneath Tuinei.
Actually, protection was not that bad.
It wasn't bad. But you see, you have a big guy in the middle. You have Chester McLaughlin and Jerry Ball there, where it's hard to step up because they're all going to be there.
Emmitt Smith. Right side, not much.
Now, I was saying that Anthony Smith was an interesting story, Pat, as he practiced on Wednesday, came to a meeting Thursday morning, then left, and they didn't find him. And they got here last night. He wasn't there Friday. He wasn't there yesterday. The team flew up last night. No Anthony Smith. We talked to Mike White. He said he left Thursday. We don't know where he is. We haven't heard from him, and no one knows where he is. And he showed up this morning, and now he's starting.
Now he gets the first sack. Aikman to throw. Irvin. No. But a flag. A flag on the play.
One thing the Cowboys are trying to do, and I know Ernie Zampese, is you want to loosen up this defense. You don't want them to gang up on you and you run. You want to be able to run, but in order to be able to run, you have to loosen up the defense. You have to go deep.
And in order to go deep, you have to protect your quarterback. And that protection was good.
Well, the officials are talking this one over, and it looked like one of the Raiders was signaling that the ball was tipped. Of course, if it's tipped at or around the line of scrimmage or tipped before it gets to the receiver, there can be no pass interference. But
Against the Raiders.
There was no tip.
I don't see how it could be tipped back by the line of scrimmage.
Not on a ball like that. The Raiders got one like that last week. I don't know where the interference is, though.
I don't either.
I mean, that looks like pretty good defense by Albert Lewis. I mean, you have to. He's looking at the ball. He's going for the ball. The ball's thrown a little short, so there's going to be some contact. But like I say, if a corner can't do that, if a cover guy can't do that, he can't play. And Albert Lewis has been playing in this league for 13 years. I don't know about that one. I think that was a break that the Cowboys were looking for to change some field position here.
Well, they got it and got the field position changed there at the Oakland 47-yard line.
And you know, the thing that probably got it, Pat, was the fact that the ball was thrown a little short. And then when they both went up for it, there was some contact. But on a short pass, there's always going to be contact.
Deion Sanders lined up on offense. And on the left side, Aikman gives to Smith. He gets only a couple. Jerry Ball.
You know, Jerry Jones had said that maybe the Cowboys ought to use Deion Sanders primarily on offense and then just use him for third down on defense.
I don't think that's going to happen.
No, I don't think that's going to happen either. Deion Sanders is too good a defensive player, but Jerry Jones has $35 million invested in that deal, and he wants to see a little more of it. Deion Sanders on that last play was a decoy.
Darrell Johnston was the man in motion, and here's Aikman back to throw. Outside Smith. Emmett put one man on the ground with a juke. Greg Biekert took the bite.
And I'll tell you, Chester McLaughlin put Troy Aikman on the ground. And I think that's going to be a test right here. You're going to see number 91, Chester McLaughlin, come. Watch Aikman throw the ball. And just as he throws the ball, Chester McLaughlin hit him and put him down.
And Emmitt Smith turned that pass reception into a first down.
Chester McLaughlin is 91. He's working against Larry Allen. You see as he throws there, that's the type of thing the Raiders want to do to Troy Aikman.
Emmitt Smith flashes through the left side, a hold down to about the 23. Stopped by Eddie Anderson.
You know, Jimmy Johnson used to always talk about playmakers, that you have to have playmakers and you have to have momentum changers. And I think that, you know, that Emmitt Smith is a guy that can do both. He's a playmaker who can change momentum. And maybe in this drive from here on to the goal line, they may just feed the ball to him.
I don't think that'd be a mistake.
Me neither.
Emmitt Smith. Inside the 15, about the 17, Rob Fredrickson made the stop along with Anthony Smith.
Because then they could use that big offensive line. Again, that's a heck of a matchup. I mean, you have Nate Newton going against there. Mark Tuinei, they're going against these big guys. You're going to see they're going to run to the left side here. The blitz is to the right side. I think that Emmitt Smith just sees it and figures, I'm not going to cut back in there because the blitz is away from where I'm going.
And he got the good lead block from Darrell Johnson.
Always does.
Yes, he does. 1st and 10, Dallas. Inside the Raider 20, Aikman back to throw. Protection, touchdown. Aikman to Urban. 17 yards.
That's what the Cowboys needed to get their confidence back. Michael Irvin running a post pattern out there on Terry McDaniel. Again, I said that Terry McDaniel, one of the best corners in football, but Michael Irvin also one of the best receivers in football.
Aikman just barely got rid of the ball.
Yeah, but he made a perfect throw there.
Yes, he did.
And that was a good pattern by Michael Irvin because he really beat Terry McDaniel.
Boniol's extra point is good. Irvin is the first Cowboy wide receiver ever to accumulate 8,000 yards. With that, he has 8,012. That was a 17-yard touchdown.
With quarterback Eric Kramer throwing bombs to wide receiver Curtis Conway, Chicago has passed its way into the NFL elite.
Kramer on 1st and 10, back to throw. Rainbows deep down the right sideline to the end zone. Leaping grab for the touchdown!
Eric Kramer and Curtis Conway help make the Bears the best they can be.
Michael Irvin, who just put the Cowboys ahead, and that's what I was telling you about a minute ago. 8,012 receiving yards. He's the first Cowboy receiver ever to have more than 8,000. Talking with his receiver coach Herbert Alexander.
And you know, I still think he's unhappy about last week's game against the 49ers. That one really knocked the heck out of all the Cowboys, but I think Michael Irvin probably took it harder or longer than anyone else.
Napoleon Kaufman dragged down by Robert Bailey.
Let's watch this move here, Pat, of Michael Irvin. See, he's on Terry McDaniel, and right there, you see how he gets him going outside there, and you see what Terry McDaniel does? Just enough there to hold him right there. That lets him get to the inside and get that post pattern. But those couple steps out, that put McDaniel a couple steps out, and he kind of squatted down there, and then when he did, Michael Irvin was able to take that inside, and Troy Aikman made a perfect throw to him.
He took advantage of the fact that it was only McDaniel. He was not doubled.
No, and he made that move. And McDaniel just held him just long enough on that outside move.
Hostetler going deep. Picked off by Deion Sanders. And Sanders back inside the Raider 40 to the 30. Out of bounds at about the 28. Ishmael knocked him out of bounds.
Jerry Jones is saying that's what he paid him $35 million for. We were talking about momentum. We were talking about big game players. We were talking about playmakers. We said Emmitt Smith was one. We know that Michael Irvin is one, and Deion Sanders is one. Because, you know, he had a step on him. I mean, he was beaten by a step, but there's probably no faster player in the NFL than Deion Sanders. And I'll tell you, he has great catch-up speed. Just watch him here. I mean, he's there. You see, right there, he's a few steps behind, but by the time the ball gets there, he's right there with the ball.
And letting you know he's got it. 1st and 10 at the Oakland 30. Kevin Williams in motion. Aikman, Novacek. About 8. Mike Jones knocked him out of bounds. There's Deion. They say, the Cowboys do, that he physically is the best he's been so far since he's been with the team.
Yeah, because, you know, he had that ankle injury, and then he had surgery. He came off that. He pulled a hamstring, and the hamstring is kind of coming along. But when you talk about cover corner, guys just covering receivers, I don't think there's ever been anyone better than Deion Sanders.
2 tight ends, Emmitt Smith. First down inside the 15 for Dallas.
And now we're seeing what we were talking about. We're talking about the playmakers that change momentum. And we saw it right there. We saw, I think, that Emmitt Smith started it with his running. Then it went to Michael Irvin with his pass pattern. And then it went to this guy, Deion Sanders.
First and 10 at about the 14-yard line. 2 tight ends again. Aikman back to throw it. Emmitt Smith makes the reception. He can make you miss when he gets the first down.
The one thing that Emmitt Smith really hasn't done yet is being able to work that middle. You know, he's gotten off tackle, and they're able to get the ball outside. It's hard for Emmitt Smith to run to the outside. But if you want to get Emmitt Smith to the outside, you have to throw him these little patterns, these little loop patterns. That is in lieu of a run to the outside.
And once you get him out there, he'll leave some guys picking grass.
You better have him very close to the sideline like the Raiders did on that play.
Here's Emmitt again. He was able to find some picking room, I guess you'd have to call it, straight ahead and to the right.
Yeah. Right now, this offensive line of the Cowboys is winning that battle of the line. And you see, this is what Emmitt Smith looks at. He's going to get the ball here. He feels a block there. Then out of his periphery, he's able to look back to that side and know that he can get 2 or 3 more yards. That's not a big deal when you have to check and go back into Chester McLaughlin, though.
But they knocked Chester backwards.
They sure did. They got movement on him, and that doesn't happen a lot.
No. 2nd and 2. Smith burrows down to about the 3. Maybe not enough for a first. One of the things that great runners have, like Emmitt Smith, is that tremendous vision you were talking about.
I think it's that combination of the vision and balance and strength and power, and number 22 has them all.
And then an immense will to win. That helps.
Now
they were working on Emmitt Smith's cleats way back here on the other 40-yard line. In fact, right now he's still about 30 yards away from the huddle. Yeah, I think the thing that you always have to worry about is your shoes being tied, and your cleats, and you don't want to be stepping on things that don't work. And if you're Emmitt Smith and your shoe unties or something doesn't work, you can just call a guy out and say, hey, bring some stuff out here and let me clean my shoes off and have someone tie these things for me. Because I think, we know that he has to have everything ready to go because the Cowboys are inside the 5-yard line, and you're going to get a heavy dose of Emmitt Smith in this area, or at least faking to Emmitt Smith.
First and goal at the 4. That's Emmitt Smith.
Well, whatever they did, it worked on those shoes. Or maybe it's the feet that's in the shoes or the body that's on top of the feet.
I think that has something to do with it.
They had 9 carries so far, 30 yards and a touchdown, and the Cowboys have really gotten the confidence. The things we talked about, the confidence and all those things, momentum. The Cowboys really have it now. And you notice how quiet this crowd is?
Yep. 18 touchdowns rushing for Emmitt Smith is more than any NFL team. And he's approaching the touchdowns in a year record. Bonio's extra point is good. It's a good run. 14-0 Cowboys. The MetLife blimp Snoopy 2 is cruising the skies above it. He was given a hero's welcome when we arrived this morning. Deservedly so. 2 tight ends for the Raiders. 4th and 1. Harvey Williams is deep. Fenner in front of him. Got the first.
I was going to say that would have been a great place for a play pass. I think they would have just walked one in there. The Cowboys, were up there. They were playing that 4th down run, and if you would have just faked to Harvey Williams, I think it would have been a real easy touchdown.
That's Mike White.
Of course, that's a lot easier for me to say up here than it was when I was down there in those sidelines.
That's one of the reasons you went up here, right?
Although I did like in this, I used to have a play. I know what the play would be. I'd call fake trap 32 bootleg left U corner. That's what I would have called. But then I had Kenny Stabler, bootlegging to the left, and Dave Casper running the corner, and that wouldn't have been a bad combination.
Would you have called a timeout?
No, I wouldn't have called a timeout. I would have just automatically called the play.
And Stabler knew that.
I always wanted to save timeouts until the last 2 minutes of the half and the last 2 minutes of the game. I'd rather do anything. I'd rather sometimes take a penalty than use a timeout before the end of the half or the end of the game. Barry Switzer can feel. We're talking about momentum and how the Cowboys got it, and then how the Raiders, Napoleon Kaufman came in and really changed it.
The Raiders go 3 wide receivers. Hostetler gives to Williams. The play looked like almost a busted play, but it's a touchdown for the Oakland Raiders. 7 yards away from Harvey Williams.
You see him here. He's the only back in the backfield, and it's a form of a counter tray. Exactly. But he's on the same side that the counter is going to come from, because the blockers come from the offside. And he had to wait for him.
All kind of flags thrown in the end zone. for a little after the play was over activity.
I think it's against the Cowboys. I mean, was there any taunting, or there's a lot of talk going on in this thing? What do they call it? Trash talk?
Trash talk, yeah.
The officials aren't trash talking. Dion's down there in the middle of it.
Sportsmanlike conduct, I'm sure.
Sportsmanlike conduct on number 25 on a defense. Will penalize 15 yards on a kickoff. Touchdown.
There's Al Davis looking on.
Number 25 was Scott Case.
Yeah. Jaeger for the extra point. Gossett holding. And it's 14-7. It is a form of the old counter tray.
Yep, you see he pulls the off guard and the tight end. He has to start to the middle, wait for the offside blockers to get there, and then he just follows them in. And there's that Neil Smith swing. Remember Neil Smith, Kansas City Chiefs? They were teammates at one time.
I have like trivia question. How many Hall of Fame inductees is Al Davis presented, and who were they? They sit Dion deep, but they'll be kicking off from the 45, so there should be no return, and there isn't the side of the end zone.
Yeah, you talk about momentum changers and things that you could have done. That wouldn't have been a bad time for an onside kick, because Scott Case was penalized, so they got 15 yards that go on the kick. So you're kicking the ball off from the 45. And even if you tried an onside kick and they got it, it still wouldn't be terrible field position. But it didn't look like the Raiders even considered that. They said, heck with it, just kick it away, and we'll just stay where we are and stay down by 7 points, because we have plenty of time to work on this one. This is an all-day sucker between these two.
Yes, it is. First and 10 Dallas from their own 20. They lead 14-7, 7:50 left in the second quarter. Darrell Johnston was the man in motion. Aikman slipped, dropping, gets it to Irving. First down. Good throw. Good pattern. The Aflac trivia question again. How many Hall of Fame inductees has Al Davis presented, and who were they? 8 of them. Lance Allworth, Jim Otto, George Blanda, Willie Brown, Gene Upshaw, Fred Biletnikoff, who's on the coaching staff, Art Shell, and Ted Hendricks.
And of course, in addition to that, Al Davis himself is in the Hall of Fame.
And you inducted him, didn't you? Or presented him?
Presented him, yes.
That's Darrell Johnston. One-man screen, it looked like.
Yep, they even have the Moose call here. Did you hear that? I didn't think there'd be many Cowboy fans here at the Oakland Coliseum.
There aren't.
No, when the Moose gets the ball, though, they still give that Moose call. You know, last week I was in Dallas, Pat, and I was interviewed by Mrs. Moose.
Mrs. Moose?
Mrs. Moose, yeah. Darrell Johnston's mother, Mrs. Moose. And she has like a
Mama Moose.
Mama Moose. I don't think she'd like being called. Well, she's Darrell Johnston's Mama Moose, yeah. And she has a letter she puts out, and we had an in-depth interview.
Here's Emmett Smith.
And she's really nice. And then I went outside, and then as we went outside the locker room, then Mr. Moose was waiting for us. So Mrs. Moose and Mr. Moose got in the car, and they left. And then Moose the next day thanked me for being. I said I enjoyed it. That was my pleasure being interviewed by Mrs. Moose.
In depth, huh?
In depth interview. Yeah. I mean, it was a sit down, long talk. She had the questions written out, and the answers, and I gave the answers. And
well, I interviewed the real Moose last week, and he's a nice guy too.
Who's the real Moose?
Well, that's number 48.
Oh, him. No, I'm talking about his mother and dad.
Yeah, I knew what you were talking about.
But if it weren't for Mr. and Mrs. Moose, there wouldn't be no real Moose.
I think you're probably right.
Prior to the snap, we got a false start on number 73 offense. 5-yard penalty.
False start on Larry Allen.
Yeah, here's Larry Allen right here. He's a second-year guy who's having a heck of a year. You see, he just got off there a little early, but he's from Sonoma State.
Yeah.
That's not far. It's only about 50 miles from here. And I think that he's turning into one of the best guards in the league. In fact, if I had to pick one and say who's the best guard in the league, I might take Larry Allen.
You remember he spent all of last year at tackle. Here's Emmett Smith.
And he ran right in behind Larry Allen. And Larry Allen caused that hole for him. In fact, he got a couple blocks. See, this is what a lineman does. You start off, here's Larry Allen, number 73, right here. Now you start and you get one, boom, you help him, you get that guy to the ground, then you come up on the next guy. And that's the hole, that started the hole, because they got that movement on Chester McLaughlin. They had to do that first. Larry Allen did that, and then after he got that done with his left shoulder, he takes his right shoulder, boom, goes up in the linebacker.
Second down. Aikman back to throw. To Irvin. And he'll have his first down. Terry McDaniel on the coverage. You know, you're talking about Larry Allen. Assistant coaches, I don't think, get nearly enough credit. Well, go ahead.
Here again, I think that Michael Irvin is really working Terry McDaniel out here. I think he has his number.
Yeah, I think
he has Terry McDaniel turned about every way you can go. Michael Irvin knows it, and more importantly, Troy Aikman knows it, because he was watching Michael Irvin all the way.
They got the first down, and they give the ball to Emmett Smith, and he gets only a couple of flag on the play. Chester McLaughlin made the tackle. I just started to say I don't think assistant coaches get enough credit, but the guy who coaches this Dallas offensive line, I think, is one of the best in the business, Hudson Houck.
And I agree with that. I've known Hudson Houck for years. In fact, we were talking yesterday that
Offsides. Number 93 defense. 5-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
That's Jerry Ball.
But Hudson Houck was coaching up here at Stanford. John Robinson was coaching with me, and he got the job at USC. And Hudson Houck was interviewed here by John Robinson to coach with him the next year at USC.
And you're still mad at Robinson.
Yeah, I am for doing that.
Aikman, Irvin at the 23 of Oakland.
And you see what they just took Terry McDaniel over on the other side. Michael Irvin over on this side now, again working against Terry McDaniel, who's off, and he just runs it out there. And it looks like every time Michael Irvin makes a cut, Terry McDaniel slips. And you'd think it should be the opposite,
right,
that Michael Irvin, not knowing this field, ought to be the guy that is slipping. But that's the third or fourth time that Terry McDaniel has slipped in this first half.
With that catch, Michael Irvin just set another new Cowboy record. Here's Emmett Smith left side, and he is hammered, and the ball came loose, and the Raiders got it. Anthony Smith, whoa, was hurt. Emmett Smith was belted.
Anthony Smith was the guy that was at practice Wednesday, at the meeting Thursday. They couldn't find until this morning, and he comes up with his second big play in this half.
Smith really took a hit. And the ball came flying out.
Here's Emmett Smith. You're going to see Derek Hoskins comes in right there, and he really unloads on Emmett Smith. And when he unloaded on with everything he had, the ball just jolted right out of there.
And the Raiders take over. 1st and 10 at their own 13. The pitch is back to Harvey Williams, who slipped and got back up and got about 5 yards. Our information is that safety man Eddie Anderson re-aggravated a hamstring pull and will not be back.
And Joe King is in for him, has been in for him. And again, Derek Hoskins is the strong safety, the opposite safety from Eddie Anderson, who made that great hit there.
2 tight ends, Williams deep. Hostetler hit by Hennings. just as he let it go. That might have been a lateral.
I didn't hear a whistle. I didn't hear a whistle until right then. I did see the referee throw a flag, but I didn't hear a whistle. And the only thing that stops play is a whistle.
I think this is a lateral.
I think so, too, because no one blew the whistle. I mean, they may have to go and talk about this. This is going to be a conference. Remember, there's only 6 officials out there. 1 official was injured, so they're working 1 man short on the officiating crew. But no one blew a whistle on that play. Again, you see where Jeff Hostetler is. He's on the 10-yard line. He throws it out there, and if he throws it behind that yard line, that is a lateral. Now we'll look at it from this angle. If the ball comes out and he throws it behind, and he does throw it behind, that is a lateral, and a lateral can be picked up.
A live ball. The flag, I think, had to be for intentional grounding.
Yeah, and the flag doesn't stop the play.
No.
After a conference on the field, there is no intentional grounding. The ruling is a backward pass and out of bounds. 3rd down.
So it was a backward pass.
It was a lateral.
Yeah, it was a lateral, but the Cowboys didn't pick it up, so the ball went out of bounds. So no one got control of that backward pass or lateral until the ball got out of bounds, or after the ball got out of bounds.
The last person to have control, of course, was Hostetler.
Yeah, again, and you're going to see that ball come out. Now, it's a lateral. Now, the Cowboys can pick this up if they can get to it before it gets out of bounds. Nope, they just knocked it out of bounds. No one had control before the ball goes out of bounds. So the ball should be spotted at the point it went out of bounds.
Right.
Raiders ball.
That should be 3rd down. They're still in another conference. Alundis Bryce.
Again, being a rookie, Alundis Bryce, you wonder if he knows the rule that is a live ball and that he could have recovered it.
Tim Brown took off after it. He knew.
Alundis Bryce looked like he was trying to defend against Tim Brown rather than go for it himself. Because, again, if he would have picked that up, that would have been the Cowboys' ball right there.
Now, well, they've done exactly what you said. They moved it back to where it went out of bounds. 3rd and 19 for the Raiders back there. 2:53 left to play in the first half. 2:50, call it. 3rd down. Long in count. Hostetler in the end zone. Haley almost had him. Pass is incomplete. A flag on the play. Deion Sanders was the cover man. James Jett, the intended receiver. Haley just missed. Back in the end zone.
James Jett, of course, the fastest of the Raiders. Deion Sanders, the fastest of the Cowboys. That was a track meet going down the sideline.
And it's against Deion. That'll get him out of the hole.
You see James Jett there. Deion Sanders has the hand on him right there. You see the hand on his right arm holding him back. Deion's left arm. That's what they call pass interference. And again, he's getting that hand up there, right there. He has it in again. I'll tell you, that's touchy, but that is pass interference by definition.
That's a good call. 1st and 10. The Raiders, 3 wide receivers. They operate from their own 33. That's Kaufman. Big hole up the middle. And Kaufman gets through it in a hurry.
I really like this Napoleon Kaufman.
Yeah.
Because we saw him make a heck of a block on Charles Haley. We saw him run to the outside, and on that play, he just runs this thing right up the middle. Just watch it. This isn't going inside or outside or anything. This is just coming straight up the middle. He has about 5 moves while he's doing it, but he is a quick, powerful little guy.
Well, Mike White was very emphatic last night when he was talking to us that we don't change our philosophy just because it's Napoleon Kaufman.
Well, I think when you see 5'9", 180, you think Dave Meggett type guy, you think Dexter Carter type, you think 3rd down guy, role player. He made it clear, and you can see here, I mean, all you have to do is watch it. You know that Napoleon Kaufman is not a role player. He is an every down player. Look at the arms on that guy.
Yeah,
if you have arms like that, you can play every down, I'll guarantee you.
I don't know how he gets the shirt on.
Yeah, big old pipes. Those big old pipes. You got to pull it tight up over those pipes. Lompoc. Some people call it Lompoc. It's Lompoc.
Hostetler back to throw it. Pass is picked off again this is by Brock Marion. Brock Marion, I saw the one. I thought it was Dion. It's Brock Marion.
Yeah, I think the Raiders have really expected the Cowboys to be in a lot of man coverage, and the Cowboys in this game are going back to more zone. Even with Dion, letting Dion play some man, they're also playing some zone.
So Dallas gets the ball back.
And you just see what the zone looks like, Pat. You can see that they're going to rotate up here on this side. We can just stop it here. You see, this is the zone. See, they're rotating here. Here's the safety. They're playing this zone. All these guys are playing zone underneath. They're not playing man-to-man. And Brock Marion is just sitting right there in the middle.
The intended receiver for the Raiders fell down again.
You know, it's ironic, but the Raider players have slipped more on this field today than the Cowboys.
Aikman to throw. Going deep for Irvin. And Michael Irvin comes back to throw it. And gets a first down at the 16. Pass was short. Irvin came back, made the adjustment, and got it.
Yeah, one thing, Michael Irvin was really frustrated last week. For all intent and purposes, he only caught one pass. Here he is out here again, and you see it's just a little stop and go. The ball is stopped, is thrown short. Michael Irvin makes a great adjustment on the ball.
And again, the Raider defender slipped. 36-yard gain. John and I will be in Detroit.
I'm leaving tonight.
Screen pass to Novacek. Chased down by Chester McLaughlin.
And one thing, this Cowboy line has done a pretty good job of protecting Troy Aikman because, as I said earlier, I didn't feel that his knee is completely healthy. And the thing that when you have a quarterback and he's not completely healthy, I don't think either one of these quarterbacks are today, but they need good pass protection. They can't be beaten around.
Deion Sanders on offense. Lined up to Aikman's left. Revert. Nothing doing for Deion. Rob Fredrickson.
Did you see when Rob Fredrickson hit him?
Yeah.
He stopped. Deion was trying to keep his feet going, and the feet were just going, and it wasn't going anywhere. But that's a linebacker hitting the guy. Watch when Fredrickson hits him. It's going to be a reverse out here to this side, to the right of the screen. Fredrickson sees it right now. Now watch Deion's feet when he hits him. I mean, both feet, the cleats, all the cleats just come out of the ground. Look, he has no cleats in the ground anymore. If you don't have any cleats, you don't have any feet in the ground. If you don't have any feet in the ground, you can't keep going where you were going.
We'll have to wait for the next dance.
That is the definition of a decleater. I mean, he just hit him and boom, he knocked both feet straight up in the air.
And then the ball angered him.
I'm sure the defenses think I've heard enough about Deion.
Yeah.
Deion this, Deion that, Deion dance. Deion's not going to do it to me.
Not going to dance. When I got a shot.
Yeah, that's the problem with playing offense. You know, on defense, you can do the hit, and on offense, all those guys that want to get you can get you.
Yeah.
You know,
legally.
Linebackers have that goofy look in their eye. You know, they walk around like that and say, put them on offense, let me get a hold of them. I'll show you what $35 million is. You become a target. You become a marked man.
Linebackers and special team guys live in a different zone.
Oh, they're all goofy.
Here's Aikman. Complete to Emmitt Smith.
There was Rob Fredrickson again.
Unusual route for Emmitt.
I think that they're trying to get things underneath out here, and the guy that I usually get it underneath to is Jay Novacek or the Moose, but on this case they're running a pattern out there to Emmitt Smith, and I think they probably liked having Rod Fredrickson on him, but the thing is, you have to run your pattern enough. If it's complete, you have to get a first down. Fredrickson made a heck of a play by tackling him before he got to the first down.
That's 2 plays in a row by Fredrickson. Bonio for the field goal. And he is good, and it's 17-7. From 26 yards away, Chris Bonio, who's having a fine year, puts the Cowboys ahead by 10. 17, Raiders 7. And
Big three doing a job ahead by 10.
Cowboys burn the boys. Well, they go turn right around. Michael Irvin goes to the corner, back to the post, waits on the pass, makes a good reception. Cowboys up by 7. Jeff Hostetler down the middle of Quadre Ishmael. But for the rocket, that is, ball thrown to the outside shoulder instead of the inside. Deion Sanders makes a great interception, his second on the year. 6 plays later, Emmitt Smith scores, and then finally Harvey Williams scores 14-7, and then Chris Bonio with a field goal 17-14. Hostetler injured on this play. We said on the pregame he has a bad left shoulder. Jimmy and Howie showed the stunt. This stunt was the one, JB, that led to the Hawks having to leave this football game. Don't know the extent yet, and hopefully he'll be back in the second.
they got it back, and the Raiders have to have a little doubt.
Yeah, and the Cowboys got it back, and I think part of it is Troy Aikman is in that zone now. He has 11 straight. He has this thing that it looks like he can throw to Michael Irvin anytime he wants to. The pass protection for the Cowboys is good. I'm surprised at the way the Raiders are falling down and slipping on this field. I think that's been a big part of the story. You would expect if there's going to be a lot of slipping, you expect that the Cowboys would have been doing the slipping and the Raiders would have control, but that first half was really the opposite of that.
Let's have a look. As you look at Troy Aikman, let's have a look at the halftime statistics.
Well, again, this one here is always big. You know, the Raiders had 2 turnovers, and then that went directly to 10 Cowboy points. And then, you know, of course, they also missed a field goal. So that's really the story of the first half. The other story of the first half is that Jeff Hostetler is out. So we're going to see a different Raider offense this second half with Vince Evans leading.
Vince Evans, much more mobile. Not that Hostetler isn't mobile, but as injured as he is, here's what they had to do at the halftime to repair the turf, or attempt to. You know, as you said,
you know, when I was here, they always used to blame Al Davis for watering down the field, or
they blamed you
watering down the field, and now here it is all these years later, they still have the same problem, and the problem is that the field is below sea level.
Kevin Williams to the 32, where the Cowboys will take over.
Well, there was some hitting on that play. Did you hear that?
Yes.
We're talking about guys with goofy eyes. Those guys will run down on kickoffs and slam into each other, and then the guys that have to slam into them, they're about half goofy.
You know, that's one thing we've often talked about, that you miss not being down on the field at the game, is the speed at which things happen and the sound of how hard they hit each other.
Because if you are down there and you hear the sound, you also feel the contact.
Emmitt Smith is deep behind Aikman. That's Novacek with motion to the right, and Aikman will throw it. Novacek shakes away from one of the Raiders and gets to midfield. He rarely gets hit hard, but that time he did.
When you go back into that middle of the field, you're going to. You can look in the first half where Troy Aikman threw his passes. You can see that he was 11 out of 13. In fact, he was 11 out of 11. And 5 for 6 out here in the left side, 4 for 4 in the right, 1 for 1 here, 0 for 1 here. But most of his passes that he threw, or the damage he did, were to the outside areas of the field.
To Michael Irvin. Emmitt Smith. Emmitt spins away from a couple, and it's a foot race. Emmitt is dragged down by Derek Hoskins, and he must have very strong hands, is all I can say.
He does, and he has some speed, too, because when you see Emmitt Smith come in here, he's going to break away, and he has an angle right here on Derek Hoskins. He has Hoskins beat, so Hoskins has to make up a couple of steps to get in position to get that left hand on him to grab him. See, good blocking up there. Missed tackle on the line. Greg Biekert missed him right there in the middle. But I'll tell you, that was a heck of a play by Hoskins coming across there.
Smith got the first down. Williams in motion. Aikman to throw. Wheels it out to Novacek early. That should be enough for another first down. Mike Jones made the stop.
Well, that halftime didn't bother Troy Aikman because I think going in he was 11 out of 11 and he's 2 out of 2, so now he must be like 13 straight pass completions.
That fits.
And you know, and when he gets on that, a lot of it's him, a lot of it is Jay Novacek and Michael Irvin as receivers. But again, you have to give a lot of the credit to that offensive line because that means that they're giving him time and protection to do this.
Not only do they give him time, John, and protection, as you said, they give him lanes to throw in, and that's very important against a big group like this Raider group.
Yeah, and that's what the tackles do real well. I mean, I think that's why he likes to throw to his right a lot, because his big tackle, Eric Williams, is on that side. And Eric Williams, over the years, I mean, when he bumps the guy, he kind of knocks him out of a lot of lanes and gives Troy Aikman a lot of throwing to that right side.
2 tight ends. Novacek moves left. First down, it's Emmitt Smith, the flag on the play. Smith down to the 20, inside to about the 19, stopped by Mike Jones, but flagged.
Joe King on the stop. A penalty flag at the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, we were talking last week how Troy Aikman, you know, likes Jay Novacek so well, and you can see on this drive why.
Offsides, number 91 defense, penalties accepted, 5-yard penalty, repeat first down.
But you can see why. In fact, last week, Troy Aikman told us, you know, when Jay Novacek retires, I'm going to retire too. He said,
then he backed
I don't
off
want to, well, he backed off a little. He said, I don't want to play without Jay Novacek. And you can just see why. I mean, get open and just with the way he catches. I mean, that's a thing of beauty.
Look that ball right into your hands. Novacek just illustrated that. Here's Emmitt Smith. Down to the 15. McLaughlin on the stop.
Yeah, that was one of the things that Ernie Zampese said yesterday, that they would, with those big tackles, Chester McLaughlin in there and Jerry Ball, that he thinks that maybe if they can control the ball and keep them on the field a little, that maybe they'll get tired. And, you know, they're bringing Jerry Ball in and out. Jerry Ball wasn't in the last play. In fact, he just came in on this play. So you can see the Raiders are trying to keep them fresh. The Cowboys are trying to wear them down.
Hand off to Darrell Johnston. And the Moose will get a first. Stopped by Pat Swilling.
You know what Mrs. Moose was telling me about Moose? She said that she can always tell his good blocks because he keeps his back flat. Now, only a mother would know about a flat back of a blocker.
A mother of a football player.
And she said she watches him every play. And I said, mothers always do. If you want to know how a guy played, you ask his mother after the game, because a mother will watch that player no matter what happens. On or off field, she'll watch him every play of the game.
First down. Aikman fakes reverse, going to throw screen. Just threw it to the open spaces as Jerry Ball read it well.
And when Jerry Ball reads it well and he gets out there in a screen, there aren't many open spaces.
That's right.
I mean, he had to throw that ball over Jerry Ball, which you can do because Jerry Ball's not very tall, but big old Jerry Ball is wide. So they're going to come out here to the left. You see him fake to Emmitt Smith, and then Jerry Ball is covering him right there. You see Jerry Ball is right there, so you can't throw it through Jerry Ball. He just eclipsed Emmitt Smith. You couldn't even see Emmitt Smith.
Jerry Ball is not very tall. That's good. Here's Emmitt Smith, who's very good. Touchdown. 13-yard touchdown run by Emmitt Smith.
Hey, when you play against the Cowboys, you play against Emmitt Smith, you better bring your best tacklers. You better be ready to tackle. The Raiders on this drive missed too many tackles. But Emmitt Smith will cause you to do that. Part of it is blocking, part of it is Emmitt Smith, and part of it is missed tackling.
Bonio for the extra point. Novacek stays in to hold it. Dale Hellestray, the snapper. Everything worked perfectly. 24-7.
10 minutes and 55 seconds.
Missed tackle.
Dallas Cowboys 24.
Missed tackle. Touchdown. The Oakland Coliseum. Coach Mandanao will be there. Aikman going for more. Novacek got some more. Dan Land made the stop.
You know, we're going to give the turkey legs away, you know, at Thanksgiving like we always do. And we have to have a bunch of turkeys and a bunch of legs, so I'm starting to look them over here. I want a big old one. Oh, that one there looks pretty good. Let's see. Oh, this one here doesn't look bad either.
Neither one of them look bad.
Well, you know, it's like plays and stuff. You got to scout for them. You start looking at them and you start picking them out. And I saw a few in there. I think I saw a six-legged one.
At least 6.
Well, yeah, I mean,
maybe more.
Well, I would like to get 8. You know, twice as many as normal. But, you know, you just keep looking. So you scout, you look, and everything, just like these guys. You know, they're got the thing, they're showing pictures, and this is what happened, and this is what we did, and this is what they did.
A 1-yard gain.
So there's electronic images that they can get down. They take them from up above, and then they get them down to the sideline in a machine, and then they can show the still pictures to the players.
Irvin and Novacek lined up side by side. Now Irvin goes the other direction, and Aikman goes back to throw it. Gets it up the middle to Michael Irvin. Stopped by Greg Biekert.
You see where the Moose was on that play? Because they moved Michael Irvin around. The Moose was outside as a wide receiver. He was flanked way out to the left. And he had some funny stance. I don't know what kind of stance that is, but look at this. That's what happens when you put a fullback out there. Yeah. I mean, he didn't line up square, and he didn't line up. They kind of lined up perpendicular to the line of scrimmage. And you see the defense, they gave him no respect.
That was a different pattern he ran, too.
But his alignment, I don't know what the heck that alignment was.
3rd and 4. Aikman back to throw it. Throws back to Novacek. Novacek down the sideline to about the 16. And right now for McDonald's game break, let's return to James Brown in our Hollywood studio.
Had a superb day for Warren Moon, who tosses his 4th touchdown of the afternoon as he finds Chris Carter. 9 receptions, 108 yards for Chris, and 2 TDs, 36-10 Minnesota. Back to Pat and John.
Back here, Troy Aikman is just as hot as Moon. 1st and 10 Cowboys at about the 17 of the Raiders. 16. Well, with 2 tight ends, they went with Emmitt Smith, and Emmitt flashes down inside the 10 to about the 8.
Emmitt Smith is getting close to 100 yards now, and again, you know, like I said, a big part of it's Emmitt Smith, who to me is the best running back in football. A big part of it is this offensive line and the job that they're going to do blocking on this side. Moose Johnston, of course, always giving him that lead. Boom, getting that block right there. That's the block that creates a hole, and then Emmitt Smith running through it.
Aikman is 16 out of 19. Smith having a hot day. Irvin having a hot day.
Yeah, Moose making that block there. Yeah. Mom Moose watching, had a flat back on that block.
Yes, he did. Smith again. Not much this time. Hit by Biekert. Jerry Ball on the last play, the previous play, came to the sideline, and they're checking him.
You know, they've been working over that area. I mean, those guys, Jerry Ball, Chester McLaughlin, have really been working against those big guys on that middle of the Cowboy line, and that's been a battle all day.
And so far, that Cowboy line has done very well.
Yeah, I think the Cowboys, overall, up and down the line have probably won that. A guy that's really been quiet on the Raider defense today is Pat Swilling.
Aikman outside to Moose. Flag on the play. A penalty marker, 2 of them, in fact. Moose Johnston made the reception.
Yeah, we were talking about the time that Aikman has gotten and the And the Raiders, Pat Swilling has had a heck of a year this year, putting pressure on quarterbacks, but I don't know that he's made a play today. I don't remember Pat Swilling making a play.
I remember calling his name after a tackle, but not a pass rush.
I think a big part of that is Mark Tuinei, the job that he's doing, and Eric Williams. Those two tackles will keep a lot of defensive ends quiet.
We've got a multiple foul on a defense. Holding on number 52. That penalty's declined. Personal foul on number 99. Hit to the quarterback in half the distance to the goal.
That's Andre Bruce.
You're going to see 99. Andre Bruce is right there. And he starts in, and they say that, see, Troy Aikman throws the ball. It's got, no, that wasn't Andre Bruce. No, that was the wrong guy. They called that one on. That was James Folston, who they should have called it on, number 55. Andre Bruce was close, but Andre Bruce didn't do that.
Folston, I guess, should have been called. That was close, too.
Yeah, I don't know about either one of them, but I know the guy it wasn't Andre Bruce.
Aikman gives to Emmitt Smith. And Emmitt scores his third of the day. Emmitt Smith, 3 touchdowns. He is going to fill that trophy case he's got where he keeps all those balls he scores a touchdown with in his establishment in Pensacola, Florida. That's going to be full.
Again, look at this, 52 yards. He has 89 yards, period. And his yards after contact is 52. So 52 of those yards were made after an initial contact, which means missed tackles by the Raiders.
Bonio for the extra point. It's good. And the Cowboys move further ahead, 31-7. Emmitt Smith scored 3 times.
Problem out here, they're not getting any force. You stop this, you have to get someone up here. Moose Johnson just knocks this guy down, and Emmitt Smith just carries it in. But they have no force on the outside. See, whap there, now you got a soft corner. Now watch Moose Johnson, whap, he just knocks a guy down, and that's about as easy as a touchdown can get. But you have to have force on that side. I mean, not only on short yardage and goal line, but anywhere in the field. If you have a guy inside the tight end, someone, boom, has to be up to that outside a lot quicker than that.
Emmitt Smith has tied Franco Harris for 5th place on the all-time touchdown rushing list. Bonio's kick is short. Napoleon Kaufman brought it out near midfield, but there's a flag on the play. Eric Bjornsson made the stop. Emmitt Smith, by the way, has 91 touchdowns rushing, holding against the Raiders.
You know, those are the things that still kill the Raiders today, the penalties.
Number 57 on the return team. 10-yard penalty. First down.
Rob Holmberg is the guilty party. The Cowboys 31, the Raiders 7. Third quarter score. It's very foggy. The whole stadium shrouded. But that did not deter the Oakland Raider fans. They were here, and they were here early.
They always do, and they get here early and they stay late. They may be out in that parking lot all night.
Evans. This again at 9:30 this morning.
Well, if you're going to do it, you got to get set up to do it.
Might as well be all day.
What are they cooking there? They're there so early they have to have eggs.
That looks like a hand grenade. A big one.
You just eat that and you'll explode.
Yeah. Evans going deep. He got somebody open. Darrell Hobbs out of his reach. Whoa.
Now there's some good-looking meat, Pat.
Yep.
I mean, if you're going to have meat, you want big old meat like that and big old beans.
And you got to be here at 9:30 if you're going to get it done by game time.
Big old guys. I wonder who that guy is right there, and that guy is right there.
I think that might be, both their last names might be Madden.
Yeah. They know how to tailgate. I tell you, they learned that. They learned how to eat. They had a good eating coach.
Utah. Evans to Brown at near midfield.
Hey, we talk about on defense, Pat Swilling being quiet. You know, for the second quarter in this second half, Tim Brown has been quiet.
This is Darren Woodson down for the Dallas Cowboys.
And a first down at midfield.
He has been a heck of a player.
Well, he is, because he's one of those guys that was a linebacker in college. So if you need a run guy or an extra linebacker, he can play that. He has good speed, so he can be a defensive back. They had trouble with the slot last week against the 49ers, and they had a linebacker in the slot. Today he played Woodson mostly on the slot. And you're going to see right here, look at that. It's just right there where the paint was.
It slipped.
On that Oakland Raider. Yeah, his leg just slipped. Saying how safe it was. The grass is, but the paint isn't. That was where the paint was on the grass.
Darren Woodson has been replaced by Robert Bailey. Looks like fun.
Yeah, fun, but the guy got to be at the ball game. How can you be doing that stuff when there's ball being played? What kind of guy says, well, the Cowboys are in town, the Raiders are back, the Raiders and the Cowboys, I think I'll go jet skiing. What kind of guy is that?
Here's Vince Evans, chased by Herman McCormick, gets rid of it to Tim Brown, and Brown out of bounds. Look, you see the block in front of him by Napoleon Kaufman.
And there was one by Hobbs, too. Daryl Hobbs came by and picked someone off.
25-yard gain. Excuse me.
This is the thing that Vince Evans can do. He's really sacked there. He just keeps moving. Finally finds his guy down the field. But watch, here's Napoleon Kaufman right there. And the guy just before him was Hobbs, who picked off two. Daryl Hobbs blocked that like a linebacker.
First down, Evans gives to Kaufman. And they head him off at the pass. Russell, Maryland, and Bailey were out there.
Watch Daryl Hobbs, number 80, right there. He's going to get him a pair. He just hits one and knocks him right into the other. They were like hitting bowling pins. You know how sometimes you bowl a ball, bowling, and it hits a pin, and boom, and it goes into the other pin. That's what Daryl Hobbs did to the Cowboys.
Like dominoes. 2nd and 9. Evans back to throw it. Incomplete. Intended for Andrew Glover. Tonight, the capture of an enemy ship could bring them the Raider fans, none like them.
Well, they came here to really make a lot of noise and cheer and to go crazy, but it's tough when your team's down 31-7.
Well, some of them went crazy anyway. Evans deep for the corner for Hobbs, incomplete. Larry Brown back there with him. Vince Evans started with the Bears. Seems like he's been around for forever.
Oh, yeah, and he's been, you know, if a new league would come up, he played there. He played in Chicago for a couple of teams. Then he played for the Bears, and then he played in the World League there. And then he's been with the Raiders. And
this is 4th down.
16-year veteran.
About 9. They're 1 for 1, but a lot shorter than 4th and 9. Evans back to throw. Chase and gets rid of it. Tim Brown, touchdown. What a play by Vince Evans.
That's the thing that Vince Evans gives you. We talked about that, the oldest quarterback in football, but he also is one of the best moving quarterbacks in football.
I don't know how he got the ball out of there?
I don't know, but this is the second time that the Cowboys thought they had him, and he makes a big play on him. 4th down, he's on his way down.
Yeah.
He was tackled, he was going down, and he just had the presence as he was going down. I think I'll throw one to Tim Brown. Watch him, he's looking, this is concentration when you can do this as you're in the act of being tackled. Woo.
That's one heck of a play. The extra point is good.
I think the Cowboy defense kind of thought he was being tackled too, because it looked like they kind of let up.
If he's not falling in that direction, he couldn't have thrown that. But he knew what he did.
Well, he wanted to look behind. He looked behind him first to the referee to make sure that it was a touchdown. I think the Raiders are in a little shock from all their penalties. Make sure there was no penalties, and he had a touchdown.
And again, Charles Haley almost got him.
That's Charles Haley. He just runs around Jenkins here. He gets the chip by Fenner, and that just kind of redirects him to the inside. Yep. And he was tackling him, and as he was going down, he throws this ball to Tim Brown. That is a play.
Yep.
It looked like the secondary thought he was down. They didn't have to make a play.
I thought he was down.
Well, Deion Sanders was the last guy to come across here. He gave a little flop at him, but he got in the end zone.
Brown from Vince Evans makes the score 31-14, Dallas. And we still got over a quarter to go.
And now, it's no time to onside kick, but the Raiders did have an...
First play of the 4th quarter. John Jett back deep. Raiders trying to set up a return. It's a good kick to Brown. Fields it at the 9. And down he goes at about the 16. Good coverage. Darren Smith down to make the hit.
Yeah, we look at Kevin Williams now. They're taping his ankle. They started checking his knee, and now they're working on his ankle.
Here's the old practice. That's not the field.
Well, that's part of that's part of the fence to the field.
You kept your players inside there.
Yeah, right. This was the practice field where we practiced, and I think the new Raider practice facility is going to be in this same location. When they move back here, they're still practicing in Los Angeles, but they'll be back here next year. And take it out, it's okay. If you leave it up there is when you get in trouble. Strepanak looked like he pulled it back out.
But it's 2nd and 20. Evans gets to Napoleon Kaufman. And he's out to about the 27. 31-14, Dallas leading the Raiders.
Yeah, that looked like a touchy call to me. I mean, I don't know. Strepanak looked like he got that hand up there, but he brought it right back.
No huddle. 3rd down. Long yardage they need. Evans. Pass is caught by Ismail as he's stretched out right in front of the Raider bench.
And Larry Brown fell down on that one. You see that? He started to the inside. Larry Brown tripped and fell down. And Rocket Ismail did stretch out and kept both feet inbound. That was a heck of a catch. It was a heck of a move on Larry Brown, too.
Remarkable. 1st and 10. They got the clutch first down. 12-10 left to play. The Cowboys showed blitz and then didn't. Intended for Ismail.
I'll tell you, and Scott Case was coming over, and there was going to be a heck of a collision there. There was that double zone where the corner hits him, and the safety comes over, and they tried to hit in between the rotated corner, Larry Brown, and Scott Case, the safety.
No huddle again. Raiders ready. Harvey Williams deep. Evans back. The pass outside to Hobbs.
It was funny, we were talking to Jeff Hostetler last night. He said that was one pass that you don't want to do on Deion, that like 10 or 12 yard out. And that was the pass that Hobbs just caught on Deion Sanders. He said that's the one that'll make a tackler out if you throw that. He said there was some things they thought they could do to Deion, but that 12-yard out wasn't one of them.
Well, he said they felt they had some talented people who wanted to challenge Deion. I wouldn't want to challenge him too much.
Well, if you know a guy like Tim Brown, I mean, you know, Tim Brown, Notre Dame, Heisman Trophy, #1 draft choice, and he'd like some of himself in there, I think. But watch Deion. He's playing off more than he usually does. I mean, Deion Sanders, even though they're playing a nickel, they have 7 defensive backs in there. I don't think Deion Sanders ever has to play that far off.
First down, Raiders at the Cowboy 45. 31-14, Dallas leading. Evans throws back to Harvey Williams. He's got some room. Recovery by Darren Woodson brought him down. There's a blocker around his feet. Woodson shed him and made the stop. This game is presented by authority of the National Football League, is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the Oakland Raiders and the National Football League is prohibited. No huddle again. Quick out is short for Jet.
The fight. Oh, there's a penalty. Someone's dragging Russell Maryland. Wisniewski grabs Maryland. That's Gogan. You see Gogan? He's saying, I'll see you after. Look, he's telling you, talk. He pointed, I'll see you after.
Bye-bye.
Like that deal about talking, I'll see you after school. That's a chop block there. See, that's what they hated right there, that chop block. And then Maryland pushed Gogan, and then Gogan and Maryland get into it. And they threw the penalty against Maryland right there when Russell Maryland hit Gogan with that right hand. But you see it all started over that chop block.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness on number 67 defense. That's a 15-yard penalty. First down.
That's when they saw it. And it's going to start with a chop block. Watch here. Watch Kevin Gogan here. You see when he goes down, right there, you see when Tolbert jumps up, Gogan goes down for the knees. Russell Maryland saw it and says, you don't do that. Gogan and Maryland were ex-teammates. The penalty was for Russell Maryland throwing that right hand at big old Gogan.
And Maryland left the game. They didn't throw him out. Hervin McCormick took his place. Gets it underneath to Williams.
Pass complete to
Williams down to the 20.
But again, the thing that Russell Maryland was fighting for, he was fighting for Tony Tolbert because he felt that Gogan, when Tolbert was up in the air, chopped him at his knees.
You don't see him get mad very often, but
I'll tell you, defensive linemen hate that when anyone chops their knees.
Evans. The receiver, James Jett, slipped down again. And by the time he recovered, the pass was bouncing off his hands.
We've seen more of this today. You know, and again, I think when you play on a field like this, you have to practice on a field like this. And you have to know this field better than your opponents. I remember Fred Blitnikoff right in that area. Every Saturday, he would go down both sides and run all his patterns and make sure he had the right shoes, the right footing, and knew this field perfectly.
That's one of the reasons he's in the Hall of Fame. Harvey Williams gets the Raider first down. 10.5 minutes left to play now. 31-14, Dallas leading.
And again, the Raiders and Vince Evans calling a lot of these plays because he's doing it without a huddle.
Williams is the deep back. Evans looking deep, looking to the end zone, touchdown. Kerry Cash, the tight end, made the catch. The Raiders move closer.
I know everyone's saying, why'd they wait this late? Why didn't they just start throwing every down? That's the way to get the Cowboys.
Why didn't they just start Vince Evans?
I'll tell you, we talked about Vince Evans being a change of pace. He is a change of pace. Not only moving and getting away from tackles and completing passes when he's going down, but also just staying in the game and just throwing every play.
Jaeger for the extra point, which is good. And it's the Cowboys by 10. 31-21. A lot of time left. They wrapped Kevin Williams' ankle. And he's back on the kickoff return again. Flanked by Deion Sanders and Brock Marion. Jaeger's kickoffs so far have been very short, and here's another one. And he's trying to set up a reverse, fake the reverse to Deion Sanders, and back again to the touchdown.
Let's watch Gary Cash. He's here. He's going to run a corner pattern, but it seems like every time Scott Case is in the game on this prevent defense or the 6 defensive backs or whatever, he's the guy that's getting beaten. And at the end, he's there. He just can't get there to that corner when the tight end, Gary Cash, runs the pattern.
Cowboys first down at their own 29. The Raiders have moved to within 10. And the crowd's starting to get back into this. Novacek in motion. Aikman gives to Emmitt Smith, who slipped in the backfield and can't make anything happen. As the Raider defense, led by Albert Lewis, takes him down behind the line of scrimmage.
See, now when Vince Evans comes and they change the tempo and the Raiders get within 10, now this crowd can get in the game. This is what they've been waiting all day. They were here at 9:30 in the morning getting ready to be able to do these kinds of things. Those guys were here at 6 in the morning getting ready to do this.
I didn't know they were your Raiders.
No, they're not. There's just a guy or two maybe still laying around. I think old Run Jones is down there on the sideline.
Well, we visited with him before the game. Second and a little over 10. Aikman gets it to Darrell Johnson, who gets the first down. Greg Beaker knocked him down.
Well, I'll say this. These 2 tackles for the Cowboys, Mark Tuinei and Eric Williams, have really done a job on Pat Swilling.
They really have.
Because if there was, they've had a little pressure in the middle, and that's been a good battle between the center and the 2 guards in the middle. But Pat Swilling, especially on the pass rush, has been silent all day.
Sanders, Deion Sanders, splits wide to the right. Irvin to the left. And here's Aikman to throw it. To get rid of it, a flag on the play, and Aikman went down.
And just as I said it, the guy that put him down was Pat Swilling. You just say that he's been quiet all day, that no one has knocked Aikman down. Then the guy that you said has been quiet knocks the guy down that you said hadn't been knocked down.
And there's a penalty flag against the Raiders. Maybe he knocked him down a little too late.
Yeah, it was kind of simultaneous. It was very close. He did.
Illegal hands to the face. Number 20 defense. 5-yard penalty. First down.
Call against Derek Hoskins.
Now, so that had nothing to do with Swilling, but Swilling really did put a hit on Troy Aikman. Watch him here. He's going to start up the field, then he's going to come underneath. You see right there, he gets away from Tuinei, comes underneath, and puts a hit on Troy Aikman just as he throws the ball, then tries to pin him.
First and 10. The Cowboys give it to Emmitt Smith. He gets near midfield. Greg Beaker made the stop.
Well, it's tough with that big Chester McLaughlin in there. That it's darn near, when he and Jerry Ball are in there together, it's darn near impossible to run in there. And that Chester McLaughlin is so big, number 91 there, and so strong, and he just takes off on every play, and he takes his shoulder. He just doesn't take all of you. He takes one part of you. He takes your shoulder. And boy, you better have a big old strong shoulder. That kid there's not worried about that big old strong shoulder.
Second and 8. Aikman. Irvin. It's a catch.
I'll tell you, the guy that had the big old strong shoulder on Chester McLaughlin on that play, though, was Nate Newton. Yeah. You saw that. If you saw that, old Nate Newton put him down. But here's the thing that Michael Irvin does better than anyone. He uses his hands right on the line of scrimmage. Again, as Michael Irvin makes that cut, again, Terry McDaniel slips.
His 9th 100-yard-plus receiving game, tied for second all-time. First down, Dallas. This is a big defensive series for the Raiders. That's Novacek on the move. Big Chester McLaughlin.
Yeah,
he jumped or somebody pulled him.
Yeah, on that play before, Nate Newton got him, though. Nate put him down on the play before.
Unabated move toward the quarterback. Number 91 on defense.
Unabated.
5-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
I guess you have your baited moves and your unabated.
Baited is when one of the offensive linemen move, I guess. Bait you.
Yeah, bait you, or, taunt you, like taunting and baiting. Unabated means that some of these officials never heard that word before.
Yeah.
So they said, wait a minute, I don't know about that unabated. Maybe it was baited. See, that's what they're saying now.
Coming up, following football, except on the West Coast, space above and beyond. Right now, the discussion continues.
I think the discussion is still about baited and unabated.
Well, it could be.
He said unabated, and maybe it was baited.
After further conference, the play stands. Unabated move toward the quarterback. Number 91. 5-yard penalty.
It's still unabated.
Yeah, that's who they call it on Chester McLaughlin there. And we'll see if there's any bait or not. Oh, and unless he calls that bait up there on top. You see, it looked like Eric Williams moved on the other side away from where Chester McLaughlin went.
It's 1st and 5. They walked the penalty off. And the clock is running with close to 7 minutes now before they run this next play. The handoff is to Emmett Smith, and Emmett burrows down to about the 32.
Yeah, now they are really getting on Chester McLaughlin now. If they're going to run inside, that time it was Ray Donaldson and Nate Newton. Now that's about 700 pounds a guy on a guy. Now watch, here's Donaldson, here's Nate Newton, and they're going to get on Chester McLaughlin there, and they get him. They get him up, then they get him turned, and then they get him going backwards.
Back, yep.
And if you're going to run in the middle, you have to do that. You have to get him standing up, then you have to get him going backwards.
2nd and 2. We'll get to 2 and more. Down to about the 27. Big Eric Williams says that's first down. Talking to the Cowboys yesterday about his condition. He was injured, came back from that really bad accident last year. Michael Irvin's records too numerous to count almost. He sets one every time he makes a reception. But back to the Big E. He's not quite where he was.
Yeah, but he's playing better today. I think he kind of likes this grass. And like I said, Pat Swilling was unheard from today, but the one time he was on this other side, and he hasn't gotten, no one has gotten anything over there on Eric Williams today.
Again, the flag on the play. Aikman lets it go. Intended for Novacek, but I think the Raiders might have come across the line early.
Penalty flag at the line of scrimmage.
Was Anthony Smith in there and Andre Bruce.
Minnesota winning big today. Detroit's already won. That sets up the match we have
number 55
on
defense.
Thanksgiving Day.
5-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
Folston.
See, that's the thing that's killed the penalties. I mean, here's Folston right down here. The thing that's really killed the Raiders all day have been the penalties. Penalties, turnovers, just all those kind of things that you can't do it against an average team. Well, Cowboys obviously aren't an average team.
No. The Raiders have been penalized 12 times for over 100 yards. 108. This is Emmett Smith. Talking about slipping and sliding in the backfield. And finally, Emmett's down.
Yeah, and that's what the Cowboys have done so well here. The Raiders, the crowd got back into the game. They got within 10 points. And now the Cowboys have just taken this ball and methodically gone down the field, and they're just, in essence, just playing keep away.
This drive. And the people who can execute a drive like this is really the mark of a fine football team. 2 tight ends. Second about 6. Flag on the play. Aikman has Novacek for a touchdown, but a penalty marker down. I think Kendall Watkins was in motion.
Hey, Jay Novacek was wide open.
Oh, boy.
You're right, it is against the Cowboys.
Illegal motion on number 83 offense, moving toward the line of scrimmage before the snap. 5-yard penalty. Repeat second down.
You see what it is here's Kendall Watkins here. Now, when you go in motion, you have to go parallel. You can't turn up before the ball snaps. You see him turn up right there? Oh, yeah, he was way in motion. Yep. That wasn't even close. Sometimes they just dip a shoulder or something. Kendall Watkins on that play, he turned all the way and started running up.
2nd and 11. Pass to Moose Johnston.
And knocked down again by Chester McLaughlin. I'll tell you, Aikman is going to be very upset for Watkins and moving on that play.
Yep.
So watch Troy Aikman here. He's going to get knocked down. Chester McLaughlin straight up the middle. He goes right by Larry Allen, and he hits Troy Aikman just as he throws the ball. And Troy's saying, I shouldn't have even been in there throwing that ball because the one before should have been a touchdown to Jay Novacek.
3rd and 3. 2 tight ends again. Irvin split wide left. Smith is deep. Watkins not in motion this time. Pass was deflected. Intended for Darrell Johnston, but it never made it. And Bonio will...
Where are you, you little... The #1 comedy of all time.